And we're live. Greetings, friends. Welcome. Happy Sunday to you. Miko Herptile says good morning / afternoon / evening. Superantonio City mods and everyone. And good morning / afternoon / evening to you, Miko. How are you, friend? 4 viewers in the chat. Welcome to Non-Sinister Sundays. We are doing a Super Cinema Sunday. And we're gonna talk about Spaceballs by Mel Brooks. How is everyone? Are you enjoying the last of your weekend? Are you ready for the working week? 5 viewers in the chat. Who's here? Say hello. What's that about? Like and subscribe. Technically, though, if you can participate in the chat, you have subscribed, so thank you for that. She's in a good mood. She saw one of her friends, a cane corso, huge dog, as big as it's like a pony. You could ride him. He's so huge and so gentle. He's one of the most well-behaved dogs I've ever met, but this dog could actually eat you. And I heard that his owner told me that he trained him, because I complimented him on how well-behaved his dog is, and he said he trained him with the shock collar, which I don't approve of, but if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. Ian C, greetings, Iron Gator, or Land Gator. Land Gator says Spaceballs. Yes, we're gonna be doing Spaceballs. Just gonna hang out a little bit and see if David shows up, because technically we're doing it for David. But it occurred to me that even though he's home, he's tired. He maybe he has to recover now from major surgery. And but with any luck, he'll watch this on a replay. Miko says, "Hey, Ian, that's Scottish for John." Ian says, "Great movie, LOL, hi Antonio, and everyone else, of course." It's a very silly movie, but all Mel Brooks movies are silly movies. They're just jokes, just come and go, at a mile a minute. And if you don't laugh at this joke, never worry. No worries, because there's a joke 20 seconds later. It's either going to be a visual pun or a bad word pun or just something silly. A rude noise. Anyways, I have a slideshow for you guys. And let's get started. 6 viewers in the chat. Welcome, friends. Spaceballs is a 1987 American space opera parody film, co-written, produced, and directed by Mel Brooks. It is primarily a parody of the original Star Wars trilogy, but also parodies other sci-fi films and popular franchises, including Star Trek, Alien, The Wizard of Oz, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Planet of the Apes, and Transformers. The film stars Bill Pullman, rest in peace, John Candy, rest in peace, Rick Moranis, basically retired, with the supporting cast including Daphne Zuniga, Dick Van Patten. I don't know if Dick Van Patten is still alive. Nope. He's also a rest in peace situation. George Weiner, Lorraine Yarnell. She was part of a team called Shields and Yarnell. They were mimes, and I believe she also is a rest in peace situation. And the voice of Joan Rivers, rest in peace, for what she said about well, I'm not going to talk about that, but there's a big conspiracy on what happened with Joan Rivers that I don't want to get into, but it's very interesting. Just Google Joan Rivers Michelle Obama conspiracy. And read up on your own. Do your own research. In addition to Brooks playing a dual role, the film also features Brooks regulars Dom DeLuise as Pizza the Hut and Rudy DeLuca. And I want to read the cast list because it's funny. And, you know, it's like the characters in a Mel Brooks movie are always funny. So let's read the character list. Bill Pullman as Lone Star, a mercenary who travels the galaxy and is flying 1986 Winnebago Chieftain 33, the Eagle 5. He is a parody of Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. More Han Solo and Indiana Jones, I would say. John Candy as Barf, Lone Star's Mog, half man, half dog sidekick. He is a parody of Chewbacca. Daphne Zuniga as Princess Vespa, the spoiled princess of the planet Druidia. She is a parody of Princess Leia. Joan Rivers as the voice of Dot Matrix, Princess Vespa's droid of honor and guardian. She is a parody of C-3PO, and Lorraine Yarnell, the mime, provided Dot Matrix on-screen physical performance. Rick Moranis is Lord Dark Helmet, the Spaceballs short-statured, bratty, and childish chief and sport enforcer who can wield the downside of the Schwartz. He is a parody of Darth Vader. Mel Brooks as President Scroob, the incompetent leader of planet Spaceball. His name, Scroob, is an anagram of Brooks. And also Yogurt, the wise and powerful keeper of the upside of the Schwartz. He is a parody of Yoda. Schwartz, is the Force, but it's a Yiddish word, I believe. Word. Let me look it up. I should know this. Yeah. It means black in Yiddish. So embarrassing. George Weiner is Colonel Sanders, the commander of Spaceball 1. His name is a reference to Colonel Sanders. Dick Van Patten is King Roland, the ruler of planet Duridia and Princess Vespa's father. Michael Winslow from Police Academy as the radar technician on Spaceball 1, who can reenact the radar sounds. Let's see. Dom DeLuise as the voice of Pizza the Hut, a crime boss described as being half man and half pizza. He is a parody of Jabba the Hutt, and his name is a reference to Pizza the Hut. I get sometimes you get the impression that Wikipedia is just a tiny bit pedantic. Rudy DeLuca as Vinny, Pizza's robotic subordinate. He is a parody of the 1980s TV personality Max Headroom. Jeff McGregor as Snotty, a minion of President Scroob on planet Spaceball, based on Scotty from Star Trek. In addition, O-Dog's here. Greetings, O-Dog. Welcome, friend. Happy Sunday to you. In addition, John Hurt makes a cameo appearance, credited as himself, where they reproduce his death scene from Alien. Okay, let's read the plot. And David's here. Greetings, David. How are you, friend? I was hoping you would make it tonight. I know you're recovering, and I thought perhaps you might be resting comfortably, I hope. I'm glad you're home. I missed you, friend, and I'm glad you're back. And let's get back to normal. You need to get better so you can, take the dogs out. People are relying on you. The chat is relying on you. So, shout out to David. Welcome home and welcome back. Appreciate you, friend. Interesting. They say a sequel is in the early stages of development as of June of 2024. Well, this year. That's weird. I've not heard anything about a Spaceballs sequel. David says, got home this afternoon. And I'm so glad you are. Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. Come back. I mean, they're trying to. It's in development. Oh, it's in development at Amazon. So it might actually happen. They say it is. There's an article by Variety. Okay, so there might be a Spaceballs 2. And will be on Amazon Prime. Landgator says, hey, I just followed you on your Twitter, buddy. I appreciate that, Landgator. I know your name is Ian, which is Scottish for John. I'm way more political on the Twitter than I am here, and I apologize for that. Moving on to the plot. Planet Spaceball, led by the incompetent President Scroob, has squandered all of its fresh air. Scroob plans to steal the atmosphere from the neighboring planet of Duridia by forcing its ruler, King Roland, to give him the code to the shield surrounding it. Meanwhile, Roland's daughter, Princess Vespa, flees Duridia in order to avoid an arranged marriage to the narcoleptic Prince Valium. The ship, Spaceball 1, commanded by Colonel Sanders and carrying Scroob's enforcer Dark Helmet, is dispatched to kidnap Princess Vespa and her droid servant Dot Matrix. Mercenary Lone Star and his Mog companion Barf in their Winnebago spaceship Eagle 5 are contacted by crime boss Pizza the Hut and his robotic minion Vinny to retrieve the money they owe him, or else Pizza is going to send out for you. Roland contacts Lone Star and offers them a high reward if they bring Vespa and Dot back to Duridia. The pair retrieve Vespa and Dot and escape via light speed before they can be brought aboard Spaceball 1. Dark Helmet and reluctant Sanders use ludicrous speed, but heavily overshoot the group when they try to follow. Eagle 5 runs out of fuel and Lone Star is forced to crash land on a desert moon. Great timing with the slideshow. David says, good to be back, my brother. And Odog says, welcome back, Davy boy, and love to Chrissy. Yes, much love to Chrissy, and thank Chrissy for taking care of you. We need you, David. The four escape on foot for a while, but ultimately pass out in the relentless heat. They are found by the Dink Dinks, a group of diminutive aliens in sparkly robes, and taken to the hidden cave of the sage Yogurt. He advertises the film's fictitious tie-in merchandise, then begins to instruct Lone Star in the ways of a mysterious power known as the Schwartz, which helmets can also control. I also want to mention that George Lucas got the licensing rights for toys for the original Star Wars for like nothing. He got like that thrown in as an added line because the studio had no idea of the potential for toys, before. So I just thought that was a genius move on George Lucas's part. Lone Star and Vespa develop a romantic feelings for each other despite Vespa's insistence that she can only marry a prince, and Lone Star shows Yogurt a medallion bearing an indecipherable message that was found on him when he was abandoned as a baby. The Spaceballs break the fourth wall by going through a VHS copy of the film to locate the Eagle 5's whereabouts. Helmet disguises himself as Roland to lure Vespa and Dot out of the cave. As Lone Star and Barf prepare to chase Dark Helmet, Yogurt gives Lone Star a ring so that he can use to channel the Schwartz. It's such a silly movie. All Mel Brooks movies are incredibly silly. Helmet extorts the air shield code from Roland by threatening to have a plastic surgeon reverse Princess Vespa's nose job and then imprisons her and Dot. Lone Star and Barf infiltrate the prison and break them out, and all four escape in the Eagle 5 while leaving their stunt doubles to be captured. Spaceball 1 reconfigures itself into a giant maid, Mega Maid, opens the shield and uses a vacuum cleaner to suck the air from Duridia. Lone Star laps into the Schwartz to reverse the flow and return the air, saving Roland and the Duridians, then pilots Eagle 5 into the head of the Mega Maid. Lone Star finds a self-destruct button, but Helmet interrupts and they engage in a duel using lightsaber-like weapons that extend from their Schwartz rings that they hold at their crotch. It's very embarrassing. Helmet steals Lone Star's ring and drops it through a floor grate, but Lone Star gets a telepathic message from Yogurt telling him that the power lies within him instead of the ring. As Helmet prepares to attack, Lone Star levitates a mirror and reflects Helmet's blast, knocking him into the self-destruct button. Lone Star returns to Eagle 5 and pilots it back to safety. Scroob, Helmet, and Sanders fail to reach any escape pods in time and discover the cancellation button is out of order as Mega Maid explodes. Lone Star and Barf discover that Pizza the Hutt has locked himself in a limousine and ate himself to death, absolving them of the debt. The duo return Vespa and Dot to Roland, but take only enough money to cover their expenses. The remnants of the Mega Maid crash land on a nearby planet populated by intelligent apes who express dismay at the stranded Spaceballs. After being scared by a singing xenomorph at a dinner, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal." Very funny scene. That's the alien scene they reproduce. Lone Star and Barf find a final message from Yogurt hidden in a fortune cookie, telling them that Lone Star's medallion means he is a prince and thus can marry Vespa. The two return to Duridia just in time to stop her wedding to Valium, and Lone Star announces his royal lineage and marries Vespa. The film ends with them riding off in the Eagle 5 and a message to the audience stating, "May the Schwartz be with you." Very silly movie. David says they've gone to plaid. Moving on to production. When Mel Brooks developed Spaceballs, he wanted his parody to be as close to the original as possible. Even though the Yogurt character mentions merchandising in the film, Brooks's deal with George Lucas on parodying Star Wars was that no Spaceballs action figures be made. According to Brooks, Lucas said, "Your action figures are going to look like mine." I said, "Okay." However, this agreement inspired Brooks to write Yogurt's merchandising scene and include multiple Spaceballs branded products at other points in the film, such as placemats and toilet paper. While no mass-produced Spaceballs merchandise was ever created, Max Brooks revealed, Max Brooks is the son, in 2023, that he is in possession of the Yogurt doll used in the merchandise scene. Brooks also had Lucas's company handle some post-production, saying, "I was playing ball with the people who could have said no." Lucas later sent Brooks a note saying how much he loved the film, including its story structure, and that he was afraid he would bust something from laughing. That's nice of him. According to Rick Moranis, in the original script, the description of Dark Helmet was that the whole costume was one gigantic helmet. Then it got scaled back to just an exaggerated version of Darth Vader's helmet. The bulk of the film's visual effects were executed by Apogee Inc., which was founded by former ILM employee John Dykstra. What does Apogee mean? I know what that means, and I don't, so let's look it up. I think it means pinnacle. The highest point in the development of something. Yes, Pinnacle. I knew that. Pullman got the part of Lone Star when Brooks and his wife Anne Bancroft saw him in a play. He had never seen Star Wars prior to filming. Liar. Brooks had been unsuccessfully trying to sign on big-name actors such as Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks for the film. Pullman said, "I think Mel was hurt that they didn't take him up on it. But then it attracted two of the big comics of the time, John Candy and Rick Moranis. Once that was secured, then he said, 'Heck, I'll get somebody nobody knows.' And I got a chance to do it." Zuniga initially found Brooks's film parodies too crass and not funny. But after working with Brooks, she said, "I have this image of Mel as totally wacko and out to lunch. And he is, but he's also really perceptive, really sensitive in ways that make actors respond." Well, you have to be sensitive to be funny. I mean, that's how you get to be funny. The film received mixed reviews from critics. All of Mel Brooks's films have received mixed reviews. Rotten Tomatoes is 52% and says there's fine spoofery and amusing characters in Spaceballs, though it's a far cry from Mel Brooks's peak era. At the time of the film's release, Roger Ebert gave the film 2.5 stars out of 4. And he remarked, "I enjoyed the movie a lot, but I kept thinking I was at a revival. It should have been made several years ago before our appetite for Star Wars satires had been completely exhausted." Gene Siskel gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, saying that the film was just enough funny visual gags to recommend this wildly uneven film. Variety said that the film was a misguided parody and not very funny. And the film won Worst Picture at the 1987 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards. The film has gained a cult following, and Tesla Motors has used the film Starship Speeds, Light Speed, Ridiculous Speed, Ludicrous Speed, and Plaid Speed as inspiration for naming their acceleration modes. This despite the movie only using the first 3 and going plaid being a side effect of ludicrous speed. In homage to Spaceballs, Tesla has included ludicrous mode for acceleration beyond its insane mode and plaid mode. A clip from the film, alongside clips of other Star Wars parody works, was used in the special look internet video used to promote Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker in order to show the cultural impact of Star Wars. And there's a sequel that is in the works at Amazon MGM Studios. Josh Gad is attached to star. Co-produced the film alongside Mel Brooks, and Josh Greenbaum is attached to direct. And it will be Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. O-Dog doesn't like Tesla. I'm sorry, O-Dog, because Tesla likes you. And that, my friends, is Spaceballs. Just scrolling through, seeing if we missed anything. Came out in 1987. And I like 1987 movies. The Untouchables came out in 1987, and The Lost Boys, Full Metal Jacket, Prince of Darkness. That's a very underrated John Carpenter movie. Tom Cruise. No, that's not Tom Cruise. Let's see, who else? Empire of the Sun. Superman 4. The Quest for Peace. Predator came out in 1987. If it bleeds, we can kill it. And Hellraiser. Oh, I love Hellraiser. In Wall Street, Greed is Good. 1987 was a great year. RoboCop came out in 1987. Mama One and Papa One are here. Everyone say hi to Mama One and Papa One. And also The Running Man. Arnold had 2 movies that were released in 1987. What's that about? Oh, Wings of Desire. That's a German movie. It's I would describe it as elegant. It's in German and French and English, and by one of my favorite directors, Wim Wenders. A Return to Salem's Lot. I have not seen that, but I would like to. And Angel Heart with Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke has become a parody of himself, regrettably, but he did a great job in Iron Man 2. Anyways, I'm glad David's back. Mom one says, "Hey David, so happy you are back." And Papa one says, "David, glad to have you back, brother. Hope you are well." You know who else is back? Sadie. Where is she? Come back. Hop up. Papa one says, "Hey, old dog," and so does Mama one. There. Say hi to Mama one and Papa one. That's a good girl. I wonder if we have... I was thinking... I'm sure I have some sort of... Sorry, I'm scrolling through just sources of video sources, just things to show you. Papa one says, "Hey Sadie." Mama one says, "What is potent canine bait exactly?" It is peanut butter and banana, her 2 favorites. But I thought about making my own potent canine bait using a cookie base. I looked it up on the internet. Cookie base is just like flour, without sugar, of course. Flour, egg, baking powder, I think, or baking soda, baking powder, one of those things, and then like mixing in all her favorites, applesauce and bananas, and peanuts or peanut butter and blueberries, because that way we could have infinite dog treats, and it'll be fun. You can buy like these silicone molds on Amazon that for like dog treats. They're like either little paws or they or like just little bones. Be super cute. Oh, put some pumpkin in there too. Just cook that up, and then it's like human. It's all human grade, so I could eat it too if I wanted, and that would confuse her, and it would be really funny. Mom wants to say to you, "Always brighten up my day." That's good. That's what she's here for. To brighten up your day. Even though she's moved away already. What else can I show you in terms of... Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to cancel that. Oh, we got so many horse drink videos. You're not doing great. You're doing okay. Mom once says, "I make bacon and peanut butter cookies for our house dogs." That sounds delicious. I'd eat one of those right now. Yeah, those, Mama once says, "Farm dogs don't like those cookies. They want table scraps." And here's a liver chestnut Morgan for you. David, how are you? I mean, I know you're recovering, but what's it look like for you? I mean, is it like 2 weeks or 6 months? And yes, Mama One, he is out of the hospital. He is back home. David says, Jade the Sable GS shows you how to make a bunch of dog treats. Yeah, I didn't I didn't really research it thoroughly. I was just an idea that came up. Because my sister likes to make cookies, and I was thinking about just like having her make dog treats. But I know she would just say make them yourself. So that's when I started looking at recipes. David says, yes, I got home this afternoon. And Mama One says, I wish they added horse breaking jobs in Red Dead Redemption 2 like they do in Red Dead Redemption 1. Yes, they do. It's a lot easier in RDR1, I find, personally. David says, doctor says 2 months from now, I'll be better than new. That's great to know, David. That is what I love to hear. Okay. He's all fixed up. Mama One says, I still can't believe I never paid attention to horses drinking water. Yeah, it's a wonderful animation. Two months. So that's just in time for Halloween / Christmas, Thanksgiving and Christmas. A lot to be thankful for. We'll have a great Thanksgiving this year. Now we just have to take care of our Serena, which regrettably she's too sick to have her surgery. Darn it. So she needs to get better. Mama One says, do gang horses drink water? They do not, because they don't really have access to a trough. They just, they just graze and paw at the ground, as far as I know. David says, I'm only 3 days out of surgery and I'm home. The doctor likes that. Yeah, I like it too. There's Rachel. I might bring Marston Mondays back, but not as a live stream, just as a traditional video with this kind of format, except, where we just go like we go full screen, and I talk over it, blah, 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 blah. Here's Sadie. We're writing down. We're in Blackwater, and we're live. All that. But I'm thinking about it. Odak says, gang horses do too. Okay, yeah. And Papa One says, David, take it easy, my friend. Surgery is no joke. I've had my fair share. The VA screwed up my back after 5 surgeries. Last one was an emergency surgery. We got into an accident riding. Papa One says riding horses, and one of the screws in my back popped out. David says, this is my first major one, Papa One. Hopefully the last. That's enough hospitals and surgeries for a while. None of the other mods are allowed to get sick for the rest of the year. David and Serena took it all up. So everyone else has to just be in the best of health. I insist. What was I going to say? I watched The Avengers last night, and I started on Age of Ultron. Only got about like a quarter way through. But The Avengers is interesting because one, it's like it sets up, the conflict between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. That's set up from the start, and Steve Rogers accusing Tony Stark of being selfish and not being in it for the team, and just being and there's a line in there where where Steve Rogers says, "You're not the type who'd like fall on the wire," and Tony Stark is like, "I'd rather cut the wire." But then, Tony Stark is prepared to sacrifice himself when he spoiler, sorry, when he like puts the nuke into that vortex. When he because he's falling through it, and it's closing up, and there's a chance that he's not going to make it back. So he's happy, he calls Pepper, and Pepper doesn't answer, So it's like that, like, completely predates and also predicts, Infinity War, the ending of Infinity War, the snap. I just thought that was interesting, and I wonder if they knew, and they say at one point, they talk about Endgame. It's the Endgame, which is one of the titles. So I just wonder how they must have had like a big notebook that so they could keep track of all of this. And John got himself a policeman's hat. Mama One says, I rewatched some old videos and you didn't do live streams at the beginning. I personally prefer the streams. Yeah, I didn't do live streams at all. I did premieres. Free Roam Fridays and Marston Mondays were originally conceived of to compete with the live streamers. And also because, I just wanted to play the game and not play and put out videos of just my gameplay. We can't drive these things. Yeah, the live streams are fun. I enjoy the interaction. And Rachel really needs to run away because I don't like putting her in harm's way. And I'd rather them shoot at me and not at the horse. 13 viewers in the chat. Welcome, friends. We were talking about Spaceballs, but that ended up early. So now we're just kind of hanging out. David's back. We're just celebrating his return. Where's your lovely wife, Chrissy? And also, speaking of lovely wives, Mama One, what's for dinner? Papa One says they claim it was the canceling of Micah that led to the Pinkertons, to John and his family. Could have been that, or it could have been the fact that he tends to move to the area and constantly go on rampages through the country and not use not use an alias. Jim Milton. David says making dinner. Okay, yeah. Well, give her my love. And you just take it easy. Can you play video games? Are you allowed to play video games? Or do you have to, like, sit quietly? And I assume the doc's going to put you on an exercise program of some sort. And probably a diet. What's that about? Sorry, David. It's for the best. Yeah. David says strict diet now. Yeah. Well, it gets better. We have such um, complicated relationships with food. My ex-girlfriend, the yoga instructor, was a vegan, which meant I was a vegan, and she saw, she was very athletic, and like most athletes, she saw food as fuel first, whereas Whereas, the way I grew up, I see food as an expression of love and also entertainment, um, which is like a really bad, attitude to have towards food. But that's how I view it. So, it's like taste was not like super important to her, as opposed to like the nutrition content and like the protein and carb ratio, and also being kind to animals. ODOC says, send me that diet program. Yeah, David. You two could like be like diet brothers. Mama once says dinner was country fried steak. I love country fried steak with fresh cut steaks, gravy, mashed potatoes, okra, turnip greens, and a homemade cheesecake for dessert. And David says cardboard and rice cakes, no salt, and right now it's 10 minutes 4 times a day walking. Well, your dogs are going to be happy. And Papa One says, David, if you don't mind, can I ask what kind of operation you had? Is it your heart? And David said, I had a bypass of the main artery to my heart. It was 90% blocked. Well, it isn't anymore. And you're through the worst of it. And Papa One says, sorry, Super Antonio, I could never be vegan. I would rather lick the inside of a horse stall every day than eat a vegan diet. Yeah, it was more, on my part, it was more of, I liked her. And, it was more of an attraction. It's like, oh, you're vegan? I'm vegan too. And like immediately looking up everything, all things vegan, so I can like pretend I'm a vegan. And I'm afraid I did cheat on the diet many, many times. And I'm sure she knew. Women always know if you're cheating, even if they say they don't. That just means they are denying their instincts. But yeah, it's I love cheeseburgers and ice cream too much. David says, can't walk them, or I can push or pull more than 10 pounds. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, well. Are you going to like walk, or are you going to set up a treadmill? Maybe you could just set up a treadmill. It might be easier and more convenient. And then, for my dad, during the pandemic, I made like a walking path in my mom's, like in the backyard, in my mom's jungle garden. He turned it into a jungle, but I carved out a path, and we calculated that he could walk the perimeter, I think like 24 times and get a mile out of it. So we figured that out. So maybe you could set up some kind of walking path, or in your backyard, or if your neighborhood is like super pedestrian friendly, it'd probably be good for you to get outside and get fresh air. Papa One says, oh wow, David, my dad had heart trouble. His lifestyle caught up to him. Now he had to have a quadruple bypass. Now keep in mind, this was the late 90s when he had his surgery. Yeah, there's been so many advances now. If you're going to get sick, now's the time to do it. I was reading on the origin of push-ups, and pretty much we've always been doing push-ups. They go back to like the ancient classical. The Greeks and Romans did them, and the Romans, it was actually part of the curriculum for the Roman army. Septimus, do your push-ups. So they're counting them off in Latin, and that's just fun to think about. And, basically every army since has done push-ups. Because it's a perfect exercise. I don't know if you're allowed to do push-ups right now. You could do air push-ups, David. That's less than 10 pounds. And also, I would make my dad do like wall push-ups. And counter push-ups. But I don't know how much he kept up with those things. Papa once says, Dad kept having chest pains and he refused to go to the doctors. He said he was fine. He rode horses till the day he died. He ran. He was active. Yeah, he was free. He lived a free life. Just like you're doing, Papa One. It's, I want to finish Ultron, and then I want to watch all the Avengers movies. But, it's like they reference other movies and other characters, and that makes me want to go back. And if you watch them, it's like I skipped Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I really, it's like, so after I finish all the Avengers movies, I'm going to go back and watch like Guardians of the Galaxies, the individual ones that I want to see. Papa One says, if you have to cut out salt, Mrs. Dash is supposedly a good salt alternative. I have a friend who uses it exclusively. Also, you can celery is naturally salty. I know that seems like counterintuitive if you're celery salt. Is that salt? Yeah, you can just eat. You can chew on a celery stalk, which is technically negative calories, to get a little bit. It's because they're a little bit naturally salty. What I mean by negative calories it costs more calories to digest celery than it does in the actual celery. It's one of the few. I think kale is also negative calories. And why do I know that? Because I've dated a lot of girls who are very diet oriented. Papa One says, Amen, Superantonio. I miss Dad every day, but if he had to pass, he went the way he would have wanted. I hope I can do the same. I think you are, Papa One. I know you are, especially now that you've got horses back in your life. A Life Without Compromise. That was the title of a biography of Hemingway that always stuck with me. A Life Without Compromise. And I do try to live my life that way as well. Mama One says, Super Antonio has a thing for vegans, apparently. Oh, it's just, it's just the girls that are attracted to me, hippie girls, hippie yoga, new agey, psychic, girls. Yeah, tattoos and dreadlocks. Super annoying. It's like, I like country girls, but or at least I do in theory. I don't really get the opportunity to meet many. But I have nothing to offer them. I can't herd, can't swim. Well, I can swim. I don't hunt. Yeah, it's just, I guess I do have a type. Oh, I forgot about Maria Hill. ODog probably knows who Maria Hill is. Agent Hill from the Avengers. And, she's just that brunette with blue eyes. She's a type. But yeah, really, it's just It's just a matter of who's attracted to me. I'm lazy like that. John hates condors. No one knows why. But these days, there's only one girl I'm interested in. Let's bring her back. Where are you? Come back. The whole apartment is dark. Hey, come here. Oh, there she is. There she is. She's happy. Mama one says, you need to spend time with Papa One. He can teach all the skills. The cute country girls will be lining up. Yeah, it's like they got, you know, they've got cute accents and good values. Speaking of values, were you paying attention to the DNC? They had free abortions. Free abortions, free morning after pills, free bricks. They didn't have free bricks. That is a falsehood. That is misinformation. Mama one says, I wish Rachel could have been a Arthur horse. I feel thoroughbreds fit Arthur. Oh, I do love the brindle thoroughbred for Arthur. And for hunting. It's my favorite hunting horse. Miko says, country girls, eh? I nominate Hannah Barron. Let's look her up. Hannah Barron. She has an Instagram. Am I going to regret this? Is Sadie going to be embarrassed? Wow. Woof. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's like, you know, the algorithm suggested these two sisters who were singing Country Road, you know, John Denver's song Country Road, Take Me Home. And it's like, I don't remember their name. Let's call them the Smith sisters, and they're on YouTube. And they're just like that, the sweetest angelic voices. And you know, they're like church girls. You know, they sing this song in church. And it's like one played guitar, one played violin, and then they had like their brother and their mom or an older sister that were playing. You know, it's like, and it looked like they were playing in a converted barn. Just like beautiful harmony, singing Country Roads, Take Me Home. Let me see if I can find them on YouTube so I can recommend their channel. Mama one says, I'm sure there were bricks, but for VIPs only. Country Road cover sisters. They are called the Petersons, and they have, and this has 47 million views. What's that about? And they have 834,000 subs, and I highly recommend them. They're like, yeah, one's on the mandolin, one's on guitar, one's on violin, and yeah, they're angelic. Miko says, I like Country Roads too. Yeah, John Denver. Died in an airplane crash, I believe. Oh, David, I was talking about the 27 Club again last night. And Brandon Lee, you can add him to your list. He's also a member of the 27 Club. Though his cancellation was not, like most of the 27 Club, their cancellations were self-cancellations. Or they were intentional, and his was not intentional. His was accidental, but it's still an odd coincidence, I think. If you're going to raid Fort Mercer, approach from behind. It's much easier if you don't have to deal with those Gatling guns. Or approach from above. I mean, coming from, but do not get bottlenecked from the main entrance, because those Gatling guns will cut you down. Sooner or later, God will cut you down. But in theory, yeah, you could raid from above. I don't think I've ever done it. No, I have done it. 12 years in the chat. Welcome, friends. We were talking about Spaceballs, but it turned into a Marston Mondays on Sunday. Odog says, nah, country girls shouldn't be harder than me. And Papa One says, in my opinion, musicians and planes don't mix well. Yes, I agree, Buddy Holly. There was a Southern gospel group, Leonard Skinner also. Our son knew the youngest member. They were a family of singers. Well, the mother, father, and sister and brother-in-law were canceled in a plane crash in July. Miko says, Super Antonio, that lady can hunt, fish, use a bow, and build houses. And she has that cute Southern accent. Yeah, Miss Tilly's accent, or even like, yeah, that gets me every time. Odak says, soft and sweet like Dolly Parton, please. Thick even. And Odak says, I best not reference any. Yeah, you made me remember Hitomi Tanaka. Hadn't thought of her in years. Oh boy, I apologize, future viewers watching on a replay. David, we're going to do Pale Rider. Maybe next Saturday. Another Clint Eastwood movie. Then Free Roam Fridays will continue with the raw footage of our Bad Honor playthrough, which I'm collecting missions on it. I haven't really actually started it. I need to get back to Grand Theft Auto. Mom one says, that's the thing about country girls. We are cute and have great accents, but will also flay you alive and hunt a bear all on the same day. I saw a really funny meme that is also awful. And I hesitate to say it, but it is, if you see a bulge in a country girl's pants, it is a weapon. I can't say what it, but if you see a bulge in a city's girl's pants, it may be a wiener. But I think they might have done that with Republicans and Democrats, but but it was kind of funny. And then I heard another one, Southern girls don't retreat, they reload. I like that one a lot. At any rate, friends, that's about all I have for you tonight. Hop, hop. Let's get up and say goodbye to everyone. She's not a country. Here, sit up. Sit up, please. Thank you. Okay, there. She's not a country girl. She's a city girl. Sadie. I appreciate everyone being here. David, welcome back. I'm so happy you're home. You take it easy, friend. I'm glad you're back. Get your walking in. Miko says, thanks for the stream. Miko, thank you for being here. Shout out to the mods. Miko and Mama One and Papa One and O-Dog and David. We're almost at full strength. We just need our girl from down under. Everyone, I hope you had a great weekend. I really appreciate you being here. Like and subscribe. We shall return on Wednesday or Friday. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how the week goes. Odog, love you, brother. Thank you. See you soon, friends.